You ever wish your soul could just hold more? I do, so I get heart containers.
You ever wish you had more courage? Try having more life.
If you have more health, you won't be as scared of stuff. Thus, courage.
Yo, you just sent a bunch of like bad light straight into the camera, though.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to make it so it's like.
It's like the lighthouse of T Giggles over here.
Only thing I can do is like put it straight over the camera, and it's just like. Ah!
Yeah, the good news is we didn't hit the reef, so we can actually come and see the orb up close.
Orb. Oh, I hear the podcat. Pie kitty.
I see him sneaking up in the corner over there.
Yeah, she's probably sneaking on up around here. Oh, yeah, meow.
You're not recording, are you? I thought I'd
recording.
Sneak up in here and get on this mic real quick.
Oh, there a camera? Is that what's going on right now?
Saw something shiny up in the corner there.
Yo, you got shinies, though?
Okay, maybe I swat at it, though.
I thought maybe I'd give me some swatsies. And then she revs in the back.
Yo, Anthony, is that how you want to do this one? Is that how you want your video feed to be, though, for the actual episode?
No, I'm trying to center it so that I can like have it stay. The only thing I can think of is maybe this will work.
Welcome to Spiritual Supplements with Anthony.
Maybe this will work.
Today we're going to be doing arts and crafts and spirit orbs.
Spirit orbs.
Here we go.
So much going on. I feel like he's going to do a magic show. Pay attention to the orb. Keep your eyes on the orb. Thing is, it's too low and your head is too tall. Does your chair adjust at all? Is that a thing?
Where's your wallet? You were watching the orb, now where's your wallet?
Hold on. Let me actually...
Better check your pants.
Gotta watch out for these things. Were you wearing a watch when you came in?
Oh.
If only that mic had a light that came out the top, you could just put the spirit orb on that.
Ah! What does this look like?
Pretty dope.
Oh. Pretty dope indeed.
You just gotta find a way to suspend it.
Pretty derp.
Oh no.
Hold on. This is gonna work. I got this.
This is gonna be our B-reel before the episode starts. It's just you trying to balance that orb on your mic. It's just gonna be like this. All
There's
right.
no light on it. I need to like suspend it right here.
That's the goal.
String from the ceiling.
Drill a hole through it.
Actually, like I have a project. Here's the So I have a project to actually turn this into. So this rotates.
Okay.
Spins. So my goal is to carve out the inside of this so that I can put a strip, like a blacklight strip, in the middle of this so that I can get this to actually light up from the inside, which is the goal, because they don't tell you when you're buying this thing that it doesn't come with the stand that lights up already. Because when I went to the showcase, it was like, yeah, here's this awesome spirit orb that's on this awesome glow-in-the-dark black light thing. They don't tell you the light is like another $200 on top of what you buy for the spirit orb. I bought the spirit orb, walked away, then like opened it on my lunch break or like on lunch there, and realized that it was just the spirit orb in the box. And I'm like, oh. So like I went back and he's like, oh yeah, this light, this fancy light, yeah, that's $200. So you just have this. I'm like, oh, that's great.
$200. You want the one that glows though? You want the LED strip included? 200.
So yeah, not a good fit.
Welcome to A for No, B for Yes, the Zelda-themed podcast where we go chapter by chapter through the game. This week, Hateno. Last week we got done covering Kakariko Village, talked about our run-in with Impa and everything she was able to explain to us, and she sends us on our way. So we're going to pick up right from there, talk about the journey to Hateno, talk about Hateno itself, the people we meet, the places we see, the experiences we've had. So I'm your host, Ryan Fonzi, a nerdle of toothpaste, and with me, as always,
You got yo Tony Giggles in the house, and I am the crack in your phone after that one drop that just did it in.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
You're a thorn in many sides.
That's I am.
I'm Cameron Hagee. A yo-yo just stuck at the end of the string.
Oh
man. Not even doing
coming
it.
back
Not
eventually.
even. Oh, he's doing a
One day.
sleeper. You're doing the sleeper mode. All right.
Long sleeper.
He's a
Just
sleeper.
chilling.
He's a sleeper agent. Just got to tell him the
biding
code
my
word.
time.
He's like that guy in Kirby who had the yo-yo trick, and he would just freeze and then be like, "Hold up, it's coming back, it's coming back."
Didn't Ness used to charge his yo-yo in Smash Bros? Like that was one of his charge attacks, and he would just like hold it out horizontal. It would just charge like that.
Wasn't that his up attack? Where he would like hold it out to the side, charge it, and then sweep up and like basically and around the world.
I'm pretty
like,
sure
go all the way around.
he did a trick move too, because he would like hold it around his head, have the string out, and he would be balancing the yo-yo on his like, I think it was like his finger or his pinky like this, and he'd be charging, and then he would like let it go. If I'm not mistaken.
Ness is pretty good at I mean, I guess if you're psychic, that probably helps with yo-yo skills.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, so we were talking just before we started this episode about how this has been a long time since we actually played this part of the game. And then we ended up when we did record last episode, we stopped at Kakariko when we were originally planning on doing Hateno with it. It was just way too much material, and we didn't see that coming until we tried once and lost our material. And we're like, you know what? Even though we lost the material, it was a lot, and we weren't even nearly as far as we wanted to be. So now we split it up. So we've done Kakariko, we're moving on to Hateno. But by now, we've all already kind of moved on to our next thing. So, I mean, I know in the streams I've been doing, I've already been going through like the Zora's Domain and everything. So I'm a ways out. And so this is kind of a blast from the past. But luckily, I took notes. So now I can kind of refresh myself as I talk about it. But yeah, one thing I will say is that there is an easy path to Hateno that kind of comes right off of Kakariko. Like there's a road that you can, I mean, if you have a horse especially, it'll follow the roads pretty much on auto, and there's not too much danger on the way. But it does take you right through Fort Hateno. And I did want to talk about that just for a little bit, if you guys don't mind. Did you guys go through
landscape?
Did you guys go through Fort Hateno?
That's how I got there.
It's like a field full of dead guardians, a big wooden wall,
massive battle,
like 3 dudes in a little forest. Yeah,
I know.
And the dudes are all like
past plays, but not this one.
They're all talking to you like, can you imagine how big this battle must have been back then?
Right. So you go through some ruins and you come, there's just guardians everywhere, just a whole field of dead guardians. And, I ran into one dude who was lost. I don't really feel the need to explain his whole deal. He was just lost. I ran into this other guy, Garrel. Garrel's the guy who points out the history of the fort. And he's like, oh yeah, this was the last stronghold that like held the Guardians back from getting to Hateno back in the day, like back before, all the craziness and, basically Hyrule got destroyed, but Hateno was kept safe because of this last stand at the fort. It kind of talks about, he, like Anthony was saying, like, can you imagine what the battle must have looked like just based on what you're seeing here? And it's like, it would have been horrifying. Like, all these Guardians.
Even Link taking on that many would have been crazy.
Yeah. There's a dude named Calip who's inside the fort. There's like a cabin, kind of like in the behind the wall, and he's like researching some statues nearby. I didn't actually go to his statues. I know there's like a shrine quest over there, but he's written in his diary about visiting these statues and how like one glows at night or something like that. And I've done it in past plays, but I haven't done it in this play yet. But he's a researcher. I found out just by looking him up that his family doesn't even know he's out here doing research. Like, he's so into his research that he does it on the down low and just doesn't tell anybody that he's out here doing this. But he spends all of his time doing it. So I don't know where his family is. I have an idea, and I'll get to them because I think they're in Hateno. But he just spends his days out here researching and just kind of neglects his family. So
that's dedication to his art.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, to his career. I mean, lack of dedication to some other things, I would say.
Oh yeah,
he's a real old Da Vinci there.
No compromise from this man.
Yeah, but through the wasteland of Fort Hateno, after you get through there, there's maybe another field, and then you can get to a little forest that kind of is on the border going into Hateno. This is where I ran into Megan and Nat, and they're two sisters looking for truffles, hardy truffles out in the woods.
Truffles.
I don't even know if there are hardy truffles in these woods. I think I've walked around and I didn't find a whole lot of truffles. But they'll get like attacked by bokoblins and stuff, so you can go and help them out. But yeah, they just kind of patrol this area looking for truffles, getting into fights. So
a little to the west of them, I don't know if you guys actually went along there's like a cliffside if you keep going the other way. And I don't know if you guys have dropped the Yiga bomb yet, but I guess I'll just drop the Yiga bomb.
We did. We briefly. We only kind of. Did you? One of the characters in Kakariko thinks you might be Yiga. But also when you seek out Impa and do this seek out Impa quest, it actually activates the Yiga. And on my way to Fort Hateno was the first Yiga encounter.
Right, that's where mine was.
Well, mine was before Fort Hateno.
Oh, okay.
It was like right when you leave Kakariko, you like go down a hill and you go back to the bridge that you came over in the first place, and there's a traveler standing there right by the bridge. And travelers like that are disguised Yiga. And I think he asked me if I wanted to join the Yiga clan, and I was like, no. And he was like,
well, then you will die! And he turns into a Yiga.
pretty much how it goes. It's like, oh, we're a super cool club that likes to hang out after school and also hunt down the hero to destroy him and all of his friends. It's like, oh.
We have cookies on Tuesday, and Wednesday we search for the hero.
And Thursday is death.
It's a Wednesday, so
and Fridays we wear pink.
Yeah, I guess to not go too much into detail before we actually get to that point in the game, they are the anti-Sheikah. And not good people.
No. And I know we'll get like heavily into the lore of the Yiga when the game decides to present it. But we haven't done that part yet, I would say. So
right now it's like
all we know is what the adventurers the adventurers tell us, which is pretty much that they're out hunting the hero.
We the hero, though.
We are the hero. They, I guess they reactivated at the same time that all the towers came up into the sky because they knew that was a sign that the hero was back and then huntable.
Oh, Spawn's back, boys.
It's a whole thing.
Let's spawn camp him.
Spawn camp.
Go to the Shrine of Resurrection. Just wait.
Anyone know the last shrine he was at? That's where he's gonna come back.
But yeah, we make it past probably our first Yiga encounter, all these other NPCs, and we find our Hateno village, right? And right at the front gate of Hateno village is a lad named Thad, and Thad doesn't like strangers. He's on guard. It's funny. Hateno, I guess, translates roughly to village on the outer reaches or something like that. It's basically a far off village, which is part of the explanation of why it has survived the decimation of Hyrule. Like everywhere else you go, you basically, if you find a town that was Hylian, it's destroyed. Like there's some other races that still have like cities intact, but all the Hylian settlements have been destroyed aside from, Kakariko is Sheikah, which are they Hylian? Are they not? I don't know. I don't know what the official lore take on that is. And then
it's a sub-civilian class.
A subset, I would say. I don't know if like subclass might be a little mean, especially since they're like special forces usually. But okay.
No, I didn't mean sub as in like just like an offshoot. Not that it would be any lesser or more. Yeah, no.
Sure. My bad. And then Hateno is, there's one other one that we're gonna get to in a few episodes, but yeah, most of them are destroyed. But because Hateno is so far out, they don't get a whole lot of action. And Thad is armed with a pitchfork, and that is just kind of the first indication that their city guard is just a protective farmer. He's
got this.
They must not need a whole lot of protection where they are. So it all kind of works out. Whatever happened at Fort Hateno pretty much put a stop to the danger, it seems. So that's pretty cool. Any first impressions like about Hateno Village, like what your favorite parts about it were or anything like that?
I really like the guy that wants restless crickets.
Okay.
Because he's just willing to do the most ridiculous things for somebody that he's got a crush on, even though even there's like a drop of thought into the situation and be like, does this girl really want like 50 restless crickets? Or is something else going on here? But no, he just goes all in on it. I love my man.
Yeah.
And also that hike up to the top of the hill with that flame though. Oof.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, the flame bit, I think when we talk to Pura we'll kind of get to that nonsense, but yeah, the dude at the inn, that's Manny. Manny is also on the lookout, but he's on the lookout in the middle of the town, so if anything he was looking out for came in, it would kind of be too late. It'd already be in there, so I don't know what he's looking out for really.
Thieves.
But he's also infatuated with Prima, who works the Tanpu Inn. Sorry, the Great Tanpu Inn. Yeah. And in order to figure out, he wants to know what he can do to, basically ask her out. He asks you, what do you think she likes? And then that kind of gives you the hint that you can go inside and try to ask her what she likes. And she just panics and says, restless crickets. Even though she doesn't like restless crickets. She couldn't come up with one thing she actually liked. So you go back out and you report to Manny, and he starts asking you for restless crickets. I didn't finish that quest because I didn't really have a whole lot of interest in helping Manny out, to be honest. Because I knew it wasn't the right, it wasn't what she actually liked, and also I don't like his style of, looking out in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, Manny, I feel like you're pretentious and you're really just outside the inn because you're being a creeper. You just need to go do something productive.
Go catch some restless crickets.
Exactly.
I don't mean to do comparisons, and I don't want to put down our man from Skyward Sword, but it kind of reminded me a little bit of the like little triangle that was going on in Skyward Sword.
You mean with the item check-in lady?
No. The one of the other guy who liked.
Oh,
he's one of Bruce's
I know what
henchmen.
you're talking about. Yeah. Colin, right?
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of that a teensy bit.
Gotcha.
Like the little like love triangle thing, and they have no clue what's going on.
Yeah. I don't remember all the names. Pippet, Colin, and then there was
Pippet was the cool guy.
Yeah.
Stritch.
I can't.
Well, Stritch wasn't a part of the triangle.
No,
though.
but he was one of Bruce's
between
little-
it was between Colin and Pippet. But
Hey.
yeah. No, yeah. Is there a third in this triangle, or is it just kind of just feel like it's reminiscent of Colin's crush?
No, it's whenever Zelda attempts to do like some guy who's falling for a girl in a Zelda game, it just ends up looking really bad.
It's like
on the
Sketch
guy.
City.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there is that. Man.
But I think one of my favorite NPCs to interact with is Sage. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he is the guy who is running the color dye shop.
I think
The
his
Kochi
name
dye
is,
shop.
I think his name is
Sage? Sage.
And I think it's
Okay.
sage as in the color sage because he does colors. Like I think that's the pun there. Or that's the nomenclature anyway. Did you meet his wife out front?
Oh boy.
Sage employs his wife Senna as a greeter. And she is she's there's much to be desired in her greeting abilities. Like you go and talk to her and she's like, yeah, there's the shop. You got to talk to my husband. And she like calls inside. Hey, Sage, you got a customer. It's like basically just shoves you off. Like I don't actually do anything here. You got to talk to him. Leave me alone. It's like, all right. Nice to meet you.
That's good greeting right there.
This is fun. I mean, gets straight to business. I will say that.
Give her a job at Walmart. Goodness.
Take your butt and get it in here. There we go. Greeting's done.
It's like, oh boy, a customer. All right. Well, you don't want to talk to me. Keep it moving. Oh, all right.
I'm just here to say hi. Now get out of here.
I'm out of here.
There's a whole ton of people here. I mean, there's a mayor. He's got a whole family. There's the shopkeeper's got a whole family. They all have their daily routines and stuff too. Couple of notable characters aside from, when you first walk in to get past that. There's the Ventus clothing family. So inside, Sophie works the store, but when you walk in, you won't really see her because she hides in the corner of the room. She's like notably shy, and that's kind of the point. Like every time you talk to her, she has to kind of think over what she's going to say to you. It's almost like routine. She's kind of like, well, I think, okay, yeah, it's this price. And like that happens before every normal statement. Like she has that whole thinking process. But also she's kind of a jump scare if you don't know where she is and you walk in and you kind of like turn the cameras like, oh, you're right there. Like literally right behind the door pretty much. And you can talk to her about it, and it's all you learn is that she just likes that corner, and that's how she is. But her father is much more outgoing. I guess ran the store before leaving it up to the capable hands of his daughter. And his name is Seldon, I think. Sheldon maybe, but it's just spelled with an S. Seldon.
He sells things.
And Seldon, as in he sells things that you don, as in garments, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. That might be it. But he'll actually give you a tour of Hateno. He'll walk you around and tell you about all the different shops and stuff.
What a great man.
Yeah, it's kind of comical because I think there's like music accompaniment to it too. And he's like, follow me. And he like kind of walks around town with you. I did take the tour. It wasn't that remarkable. It's stuff I would have done anyway, but
Nice.
it was fun. There's a gossiping couple.
Do tell.
Well, here's the thing about Hateno when you first arrive. Everything in the town is just hinting that you should be going up to see Pura. Like everything. Like the gossiping pair, it's like wives of two different families. This is Amira, who's the wife of the East Wind shopkeeper. And then there's Nikki, who I think is married to Knack. There's like a whole family of just N names, which is interesting, but they're literally like the base population of Hateno. They don't have any particular jobs, or they don't sell anything or do a whole lot. They're just kind of like NPCs.
How is Amira spelled, by the way?
What?
No, I was wondering how Amira was spelled.
Amira.
Oh, there's an I. Okay, so I was wondering because Amira, which is Maura, which is a restaurant in Orlando here, it actually translates to Village of Love. And I was wondering, like, if they had the same spelling, a Village of Love, Hateno? But I guess not, unless that's maybe
Manny?
like a play.
Manny? Restless crickets, though.
Cricket?
Village of Crickets?
Village of crickets.
Village hidden in
I
the
came looking for
crickets.
love. All I got was crickets.
Village hidden in the crickets.
Go to Lover's Pond and just find a ton of crickets.
There you go. So this gossiping duo is just gossiping about what the kids have seen up on top of the mountain and what they think is going on up there. But that's everything points up the mountain, really. I mean, there's a few characters who will give you some other missions, but at least when you first arrive, everything is like, I mean, all the kids are going crazy about it. Yeah, there's Karen, who's the daughter of the mayor. She was the first one who saw Pura and is like telling the other kids in town about it. She's like, oh, there's a little girl living up on the mountain, because of course kids love kids. I don't know if you've spent time with kids, but they tend to gravitate towards other kids. Like I remember a vacation we just took with Millie. Like we were in a like a family run restaurant, and they had their daughter there, and she was maybe 4, and Millie's 2, or she's about to be 2. And so like this little 4-year-old girl just like could not leave Millie alone. Like she kept her distance because she knew she was supposed to, but she just came and like sat down at the table right next to us and like was looking at Millie the whole time, like playing with her toys on the table right in front of Millie, like trying to get her attention. It was kind of funny to watch, but that's not unusual when you have a kid. Like you find
Kids
that
love kids.
they like other kids, and other kids will like will gravitate towards them, especially if they're similar in age. But it's
Us adults is boring, man.
yeah,
They want peers.
what do we even like? I mean, when you think about it,
Like tapioca pudding and plums and stuff? Like, us
I never said
foodies.
those things in my life.
I actually kind of like
you ain't never
tapioca
had
pudding.
prune juice, my man.
You ain't never have tapioca and prune juice, man.
What are you doing to your body?
So all these kids are on the mission. Eastwind, like the shopkeeper's son, is paired up with the Coir dye shop kid's son. Like their names are Azu and Safaro, and they're acting as spies, trying to like get intel and figure out who this girl is up on top of the hill. So half the people you talk to in town are just like, hey, did you see that crazy thing happening up the hill? You should probably, I mean, somebody should probably check it out. And like, you're like a new stranger in town. They're just like, oh yeah, up the hill, there's some craziness.
We've never been up there. It's been there for who knows how long. And we just, nope.
Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't check it out if I was you. Wink. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. So if we start making our way up that way, and I don't want to jump straight to Pura, even though that's where we're headed. So don't worry, we'll get there. but a few other notable characters. Outside of the Great Tanpu Inn, there's like a elderly couple. I don't know if they're actually a couple or not, but they sit in nearby one another, like on opposite sides of the walkway. One of them is Leop. Leop doesn't have a whole lot to share. He talks about how great the inn is. But then there's Uma, and Uma will tell you that she remembers the time of the burning fields. Apparently, there was a quote unquote age of burning fields in Hyrule after the calamity struck, which was like post war, but also still trying to make something of what was left. And I mean, obviously, it's called the Age of Burning Fields. It means fields were literally on fire at the time, and like, it's just that's the aftermath of the war, I guess. I remember reading that and being like, "Oh snap, she's got stories. Like she's been around. She remembers." But she also notes that like we're kind of in a time of peace now, which is an interesting thing to say because if you being Link traveling around Hyrule, you're like, I don't know if you are in a time of peace. It just feels that way here in Hateno because you guys are kind of detached from it all. But you do get that feeling when you walk through Hateno. It's like everybody's kind of calm. I mean, Thad is the guard, remember? Like they don't deal with a whole lot of danger here in town. And they probably aren't really in touch with what the rest of Hyrule looks like either.
It's like comparison like Skyrim. You get to Riverwood for the first time. You're like, oh, this is a really nice town. It's really awesome. And then you sprawl over to Rift and you're like, they live like this? Like that's the kind of vibe that like most of Hyrule has in this game.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Where do you live in Riften here? The Ratway. You know, that's the ducts under the town. All right, I'm leaving.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, seen some stuff and things down there.
Another cool couple that you'll run into on the way up is the couple that runs the windmills. This is Rhodes and Rolera. And Rolera actually moved here from another town. Oh, sorry. She moved to Hateno from Lurelin. And she'll tell you that. She'll tell you about Lurelin. It's like kind of a seaside town that we haven't seen yet, but one other place that we can kind of presume has survived. But she moved here after she got married to her husband, Rhodes. And Rhodes was already the windmill keeper. But the thing is, like, they sit there and they watch the windmills and they take shifts. So I don't know if they're ever actually spending time together. It seems like they trade off windmill duties. Like one of them's got the day shift, one's got the night shift. And the thing is, the windmills have to turn at a certain speed. Otherwise, they won't mill the grain at the right speed and won't make flour right. And when I saw that, I was like, I feel like that's an Ocarina reference because we speed that windmill right up and kind of mess up that man's whole day. And I wonder if that's kind of the point, is that windmill is supposed to be like milling flour or something. And if because it's going fast, it's just not going to do it right. I don't know. Just a random thought. But I thought it was cool. They're a cool couple. They're very on watch, but they'll both talk to you just fine. They're very friendly, I will say, if you approach either one of them while they're on duty. If you talk to them while they're sleeping, they're like, listen, with the life I live, I really need this sleep. Can you, like, not? It's like, all right, bet, and you leave.
And look, there's a lot of windmill to watch tomorrow. You're going to have to leave me alone.
But yeah, I appreciated that. I appreciated the windmills because, you know, they've been in a couple other games and there was a developer specifically responsible for windmills, I remember, and I don't know. Just windmills. A lot of stuff. Just a lot of windmills in the Zelda series. I'm a fan. I like the windmills. You can go inside of them, but there's nothing there. You just see them spinning. Empty. I thought that was cool that they at least let you go in, though.
Like this game is like the modern, or not this game, I'm sorry. This village is like the modern Kakariko.
The modern Ocarina's Kakariko.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Because Kakariko in this game is full of Sheikahs. Which again, I think you mentioned in the first episode we ever did that there was only one impa, one Sheikah, one Impa in Kakariko prior.
Yeah.
And this game is definitely more of a focused Hateno like Kakariko vibe. The people live simple lives. It's not like Castletown. You don't really have that yet in this game that we know of, unless anyone else knows. There's nothing like that. But it's just very simple farming and shops, and people are just trying to make their daily lives and live their life the best that they can. This peaceful time.
Yeah.
Where's the archery game?
Ugh.
That's up the road. I haven't gotten there yet.
Hey, I think we got on a little thing called a segue.
Plus, you have more people to share.
All right. We're going to segue this up. Like, oh gosh, who's the guy who always rode the segways?
Paul Blart.
Well, Paul Blart wasn't on the Segway, yes, but I didn't want to segue it up like Paul Blart. Sorry. No, there was somebody else who was really into Segways that was kind of less expected, but I don't know. I don't remember anymore. I'll save that reference for another time. But yeah, up the hill, we can find some ranchers. Koyin, Talk, and Dance. Talk is like the old timer. Koyin, I think, gives you a mission to go solve some beach troubles. There's like some monsters down on the beach that she wants you to take care of.
I don't think you can say that word.
Beach? The shore? Is that better? Shorefront monsters.
Shorefront monsters.
And then Dance is a conservationist in his own way. So Dance kind of brings up the fact that there is a deer overpopulation problem in the woods outside of Hateno. This is like a reference to real world deer overpopulation, which is a real thing. Like a big part of conservation in New York is actually the fact that we have a deer hunting season and that they give out tags to go do that. When deer get overpopulated, they overeat. So they actually deforest areas. They'll, jump in roads and stuff. They get sick and have plagues of their own. Overpopulation of anything can lead to other problems. So Dance is kind of on this similar mission of like, hey, we need to get rid of some of these deer.
We need to go.
Yeah, and so he hosts he actually runs pretty much a mini game. That's not how the game frames it. They frame it as you're actually helping out with overpopulation, but really it's a deer hunting mini game. You end up going out into the forest. You use whatever items you have. So he doesn't give you anything to work with. You go in with whatever bows and arrows you have, and you're using them to play this game. And so you run around the forest, and depending on how many deer you off, you get a different rupee reward. But also, I mean, if you're me, you make sure that you pick up all the meat that comes off of it, because that's the actual rupee reward. Oh, yeah. So this is the actual Fonzi's Farms bit.
He's about to drop the spot for more items to get through and beat the plot. So you better listen to his words, cause he's about to tell you where to get the herbs. It's Fonzi's Farms.
For this episode, talk to Dance. He'll take you right out to the forest, and there'll be a ridiculous amount of deer that are spawned in preset locations. So if you get good at the routine, you can like knock out 10 deer as you go each time. Doesn't cost you really anything, and he gives you rupee rewards for doing it. So
it's wonderful.
It's a good way to just...
It's also just great for cooking and always having meals to recover your health before you even sell them. You just have 3 or 4 full pages of things that give you 5 hearts apiece. Who cares if you waste them? You just go cull some deer.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. But you can make a lot of money doing this, and it's a fun place to farm. I thought I had a good spot with the plains last episode until I came to Hateno and actually talked to Dance for the first time, and he was like, "You said you want meat?" Like, now you know a guy.
We got meat.
We got the meats. Got Arby's out here in these woods.
Have you guys run into the big bulls yet?
The who's?
The big bull enemies? As they drop the, it's not just...
It's like gourmet, right?
Yeah, gourmet prime meat instead of just prime, or maybe it's just gourmet meat, but yeah.
Yeah, I've run into a couple of those in my play.
That's where the real big money's at. I don't think there's at least not that I know of, a place where you can just run into a bunch of those and farm.
No, I mean, there's a region that has more of them than others. There's a couple of regions,
that makes
really.
Sense.
But there's also other animals that'll give gourmet meat. Like if you run into wolves, a lot of times they'll drop gourmet meat if you fight them.
Can't the moose or elk?
Yeah,
up in
they can. I think
places?
there's rhinos too that'll do it. Maybe not as much. A lot of things just drop multiple prime meats, but yeah, some of them will drop the gourmet, especially as you
at
get
the
later in
stage
the
we're
game.
in. We really only need prime.
Right, you don't.
Gourmet would only be for selling at this point. We just don't need that many hearts.
Right. Especially
Feel
when
bad.
you're like me and you're just kind of got the hardy truffles and durians and everything is a full recovery plus anyway. The meat is at that point becomes trivial. Like having food that just gives basic hearts it's not very valuable.
Really? I like having that. Because when I mess up and blow up a bomb just an inch away from me, like just an inch too close and I lose all my hearts, I'm like, I don't have to waste a buff that I don't want now.
Yeah.
I like having like probably at least 2 to 3 lines of just food that's all basic recovery and then a bunch of bonuses after that.
Oh,
It definitely is nice to have like, this
Yeah.
guy's kind of tough. Let me just pop a defense buff, especially if you're in master mode. Mayo's the
Yeah.
one that's really got to focus on getting a buff here and there to help him get by. I mean, you don't need it, but man, it's a quality of life thing for sure.
yeah. I get that.
I feel bad because I've been in master mode, I haven't actually been doing much farming, and I probably should take heed of all these Fonzi farming parts because I've just been using the amiibo cards. I have 32 of these boys, and
Well, yeah, I mean, if you don't, if you're not looking to do in-game farming, I mean, you could just farm amiibos all day long. I mean, that is an option.
But I do it because, like, I'm needing them as I'm running through this place.
I got you, man.
Things
not gonna hear a
auto-generating
complaint
health,
from me.
man.
I still haven't got my card out and started dinging that baby.
Yeah, I still
No.
haven't pulled out Epona or anything yet. I don't know if I even will. I might just go through this game vanilla. See how it
Opponent's
goes.
too quick. Like,
I don't even
She
have
can't
a horse
stick.
yet.
you better go get a horse, man. Dueling
I
Peak
usually
Stables right
don't.
there.
I usually don't get a horse like till half the game. I don't know why. I'm just totally fine running everywhere in Breath of the Wild. That just feels like the experience.
Sure. If it's hilly terrain, I like to run, but if it's all flat, I'm like, I could hit sprint and just wait till my sprint meter runs out and then, do the slow jog until it comes back. But I'd rather just hit
Or-
A once with a horse and be done with it. Just let it do the travel
Yeah.
for me.
I could pop in a speedrunner trick here. Who knows how to whistle sprint? Who knows what whistle sprinting
I've
is?
heard of whistle sprinting. I think I've seen a video of whistle sprinting. I've never whistle sprint.
Whistle sprint.
I'm gonna teach y'all how to whistle sprint right here. So what you do is you have to take let's see, what hand would it be? It would be your left hand, and you got to kind of claw grip it like this, where you use your index finger to move your character forward, and you have your thumb resting on the bottom button on your D-pad, which is how you whistle. Your other hand is just normal on the B button. So what you can do to maximize this is you sprint until your stamina is almost out, and then you keep spamming the whistle with your thumb. And while you're whistling, you get... It's like, say when you're running, you're at like 50% speed, and when you're sprinting, you're at 100% speed. When you whistle sprint, you're at like 75. You're not 100% getting max sprint speed, which is why they say to get the full benefit, when you reach your stamina max again, you let go and stop whistling and run it down again to get the full speed of the sprinting back for that little bit of time. But yeah, as you're sprinting and spamming the whistle, you can keep sprinting, keep most of the speed of the sprint while getting your stamina back and not using any stamina. It basically puts you in a state of you're faster than walking, but slower than sprinting, but getting your stamina back.
Aren't you also loud as all get out, though? Like, don't all the
Yeah,
enemies-
you're also just... Yeah, no, you're
Why do
doing
you
that.
look like? Oh my goodness! Can you imagine some poor,
He looks
just
really silly
Hylian
running because
citizen?
he's sprinting on his bottom half, and he's like,
That's
great.
Some like Hylian couples hitchhiking through the woods and is like, honey, do you see that? Don't look at it. Just don't look. It's the supposed hero.
It's a supposed hero. It's like,
oh no, I'm getting some Shield hero vibes here. Like, oh, don't look at that one.
It's like if the postman from the other games became an ambulance and just needed to like sound the alarm as he was just like
that's what Paul Revere was doing on his horse as he rode through, warning everybody.
What is he doing? It's something about the British. I wouldn't pay him any mind.
Well, if my SOS is spot on here.
My goodness. There's some other farmers around town. Getting back to what we were talking about, if you care. There's not. I mean, some are just pretty basic, but there's one family that I had in my headcanon is the family of Calip, that researcher that we ran into earlier. And this is Tamana and Tebow. Tebow is the kid who talks about the horn statue. And being that he talks about the horn statue, that puts him right in line with Calip, who's like currently obsessed with statue research. And then his wife is very forgetful. She, Tamana, I should say. I shouldn't assume that they're married, but she's very forgetful, meaning that if her husband was just kind of gone. I mean, she even makes reference to having a husband. Like she says, like, oh yeah, I'm so forgetful. My husband gets so annoyed with me about that. But there is no husband in Hateno. Like there's no named person that she like points out. And there's nobody else that seems to be at that house. So for me, headcanon, Calip and Tamana are actually married. And Calip's just off doing research, and Tamana just does not remember what's going on with him. Mm-hmm. So she just kind of goes about her daily life. Every time you talk to her, well, not every time, but a bunch of times you talk to her, she'll like apologize to you because she thinks she forgot something that she already said to you or something. And she'll give you a bird's egg just randomly. She's a chicken farmer, so that's what she has to offer.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, there is the Bolson construction crew. And they are...
I didn't speak to them.
What's up?
I haven't spoke to them.
You haven't spoken to them?
No.
So this would be the intro to the Bolson construction crew. If you talk to them now, right now the team consists of Bolson, which is the leader, right? Bolson, Hudson, and Carson. Carson doesn't play a huge role from what I remember, but Hudson ends up being the Terrytown quest guy later on. And
after we get our house.
Yeah, after we get the house. And Bolson is the guy that we talked to about getting the house. When you first arrive, they're actually about to demolish the house because nobody wants it. It's been sitting around since the calamity. I guess it actually was your house already, but because everyone thought you were dead, it's just been kind of foreclosed upon and left barren to the point where now they're like, oh, we got to get rid of this house. The funny thing about Bolson Construction is that they have like a heart symbol as their like company logo, and all of the little prefab houses that they have like as example houses, they have like 3 model houses that are sitting that nobody's living in. They're just there literally as model houses. They're all kind of in the shape of that logo. They all have like a L somewhere in them and only extend that far. So if you looked at them from the sky, they would look like hearts. So it's just they have a very preset way of doing things at Bolson Construction. Most notably, and this is an ongoing joke that'll run through the whole game, anybody who works for the Bolson Construction Company has to have a name that ends in son. This is an Ocarina of Time reference. And I've listened to a bunch of podcasts go over this joke, and I haven't heard one person talk about this. But because the whole naming convention in Ocarina of Time was, you know, the 4 carpenters were basically named first son, second son, third son, and fourth son in Japanese. They just said, like in this game, oh yeah, if you're going to work for the construction company, your name has to end in son. Like that's just one of the random stipulations.
That's funny.
And I appreciate it because it's such a weird Easter egg. Like if you didn't know about the construction workers in Ocarina, you wouldn't have caught it. But
Yeah,
it's very amusing to me.
that's a fun little
they
Easter
went
egg.
that hard in on this obscure fact.
It really doesn't make any sense how hard he goes on people needing sun. And, like, it has absolutely nothing to do with their capabilities of living or being a person or anything. But it's like,
Some
no.
guy comes in,
It's always confused me.
master carpenter, master woodworker, is just built. He built he built Hyrule Castle, right? Back in the day, his son, his whole family, his family name built Hyrule Castle. Comes around, is like, hey, yeah, this is on my resume, but is your name Son? Well, no, but my resume out.
I can't use you.
Out. You're not welcome here.
It's funny though. I mean, Bolson even has. I mean, he has like a. He jacks the style of the lead carpenter from Ocarina too. Like Lead Carpenter had these like
little vest.
Yeah,
Like
look
the
up,
little vest thing.
Yeah, look up the thing because he's got like a little like. It's like specifically around his neck, like Bolson has. It's like this leopard print thing. But the carpenter from Ocarina, I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm probably just gonna throw it up on screen. I'll do a little comparison shot or something. And I'll give you a little explanation. But he's like that yellow and brown print is on his pants, like the old carpenter. And they both have like blue vests. Like the new carpenter and the old carpenter have like these blue like jacket vests. It's just Bolson wears the leopard up high, whereas the other dude used to wear shorts. It's just like they kind of have a similar style too. What I think was hilarious is a joke that they put into the game. Not only about the having to have the last name Son, but also Bolson when you first meet him does his dance. He does a Bolson dance. He like sings about his own name, has his own jingle, and he does this ridiculous dance. And he's like, I take it you haven't seen that dance before. It's weird. It's all the rage with the kids. You must be out of touch. And I'm like, pretty sure I've been walking around this town. I haven't really seen everybody doing this dance. But later I ran into this girl, Aster. And Aster is one of the farmer's daughters. And one of the first things she does is the Bolson dance. And she's like, what do you think of it? And you can like tell her, oh, I love that dance or something else. But it was just funny to me that like there is a kid who's all about the Bolson dance like in the town. I didn't run into her until after I met Bolson and saw his ridiculousness.
It went viral.
It's all the rage.
It's all the rage with the kids. But yeah, you can convince them to stop the demolition of the house. He even offers to sell it to you for a price as long as you can provide 30 stacks of wood, which I've already had. So I just don't have the rupees yet. So now I'm working on the rupees. But yeah, it's cool little bit there. But that's the last guy I want to talk about now that I've dumped all of Hateno out on the table. The last bit is Pura herself, which is who we actually came to see. And I think that we can all kind of remember this one a little more. So I'm going to let someone else take the floor on this and kind of lead us up there.
So I'm going to add my own little twist to it because the first time I did this, I grabbed the flame knowing full well ahead of time that I needed the flame. And I got up there. I did it before I even spoke to her. And she ends up giving you an extra dialogue afterwards saying like, oh, you already brought the flame up here? Because... she says, you must have woken up from the resurrection chamber in really good shape. Like, you already knew what was up, you know what's going on, and I found it was funny because, no, we didn't. We don't remember a thing. We didn't even know our own name. But I got that flame up here, so she's like, oh, you're on top of it. Oh, but yeah, so we walk into this building here, and we see a child standing on a stool. And we see this man in the back corner reading a book. So some people probably just going to go walk over to the dude who's like, it looks like he's a scientist guy. And he's like, oh yeah, why don't you go ahead and talk to the head scientist over there? And you look and it's like the 9-10-year-old over there. And she's like, I kick it, cheese it, hi. And then it's like, oh, okay. You go over there and she's like, I'm Pura, how's it going?
Yeah, hi.
She's really excited to see the Sheikah slate. She pretty much knows immediately who you are because of the Sheikah slate, and she starts teasing you a little, which Link totally doesn't get, and she immediately realizes going, oh, you don't remember anything about who I am, do you? And you're like, nope.
And the thing is, like, even if Link did, she's not in the state that he would have remembered her in. Like,
no.
She
should look like Impa.
Well, yeah, she should look like Impa now, yeah. But, I mean, when Link, back in the day, 100 years ago, she was still like 20-something when everything went down. So she wasn't a 6-year-old like she is now. I love how she has like such a pop star mentality though. Like she's just, everything is like, oh snap, just with every
hand
phrase.
gestures, and yeah, she just acts like a 6-year-old. She's fully embraced it, and you can actually go up and she'll tell you. You can read about it in her diary and how that happened.
Yeah, she tells you specifically not to do that, but of course, being the lore guy that I am, I had to go up there and see what all was going on.
I did it at one point when I played the game. I don't remember what's in there now. I didn't do it this time.
Basically, she was working on an anti-aging rune. It's to I'm pretty sure she was actually doing it to assist Link because she thought he was going to come out of the resurrection chamber aged. So it was kind of like a project to reverse that so that, he could still be a champion with some vitality. But when they tested it on her, they found that over the course of only a few days, she regressed more and more each day to the point where she was 6 years old. Like at one point, it even talks about her fearing that she would just keep de-aging until she pretty much, was an infant or worse.
Poofed.
Right. But that didn't happen. Luckily, she stopped at 6. And that's happened just recently before you showed up, I guess. So, yeah, it kind of just an experiment gone wrong. That rune is not made available to Link because one, he doesn't need it, and 2, it seems to be very dangerous. So yeah, she de-aged herself with a rune.
And this is the point where she'll tell you that she can help you out with that Sheikah slate and unlock some powers that are hidden away in it. But if you weren't as prepared as I was, she's going to tell you there's a caveat, and that's that there's this receptacle outside the building that needs this mystical blue flame. And it's at the base of the hill, so have fun going down, getting it, and bringing it up.
Yeah.
There are little
gotta make sure hope that it's not raining at the time.
Yeah. That's the worst. The live a worst. Once they're in the receptacles that go up the hill, you're safe. If it rains, you can just pick it back up from that checkpoint. They're basically little checkpoints. If you were to accidentally jump on a rock and start climbing, your guy automatically puts away the weapon. You lose the flame. So if you didn't hit a checkpoint, you have to go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
And once you get that all the way back up, she takes your Sheikah slate and decides, hey, I'm going to do you a solid and do this for free, which she doesn't do a lot of stuff in this game for free. And she unlocks the camera mode in your Sheikah slate, which then allows you to see photos that were already stored on there in previously inaccessible albums that had been there for a long time.
Yep.
And that's where we're going to eventually get our quest about tracking those locations down.
Yeah, we get the Lost Memories quest. I think she even asks you to take a picture of her just to test out the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're aiming at her, she's like,
yeah, you can get a good shot.
Or like,
yeah, I think she moves between poses, so you can still you can get a good shot, but you might mess it up. It's whatever. I don't remember what picture I actually got. Doesn't matter. She likes it no matter what, from what I understand.
Yep.
You also learn from Simon, who's the assistant, that you can use this ability to track other things than just shrines. There's a shrine tracker on your tablet, but you can set it to track other things. Eventually, I got annoyed with it because I don't really love when it is beeping for a shrine that I don't know where it is or that I don't see. So I was like, oh, let me put it on something rare. So I put it on Big Hearty Truffles. And Big Hearty Truffles are not as rare as I thought if you have a tracker. So I got annoyed with that too. So eventually I set it to track the dragon up on the snowy mountain, which we haven't talked about yet. But I got a picture of it on a recent trip. Because it won't beep unless unless you're somewhere near that mountain. And so my tracker is pretty effectively off because there is no just off button. It's got to be tracking something. But it doesn't say it can't track a dragon. So that's what I did.
I need some truffles.
Yeah.
And then we also find out that we can upgrade all of our already obtained abilities that are on the Sheikah slate, including both our bombs in one upgrade. I know the stop motion one.
Stasis.
Yes, stasis. Names are eluding me. That one is the most difficult to upgrade because you need a core. Or your 3 cores?
Yeah, something like that. I think 3 cores sounds right.
Yeah, 3 cores are difficult to get at this point in the game when you're first getting to Hateno. But I did get the bombs upgraded, and the other one is it's not the cryo, is it?
It might be magnesis. But cryosis is one of the things. I remember upgrading 2, but the only one I remember offhand is that I upgraded the bombs.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the other one I actually did was.
And I know stasis is upgradable because that's when you can freeze enemies, which is super good, which is also why it's probably the one that's the hardest to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I upgraded the other 2.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you guys, after you got the Locked Mementos quest, have you guys gone back to Kakariko yet to talk to Impa?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Do you know what that does?
No.
Okay, so I guess if you talk to Pyrrha again, she actually suggests that you take your slate back to Impa because she'll basically say maybe she knows more about the album because when you get the camera rune, there's an album pictures on it and they're like, what? What is this? So Impa actually gives you like a little backstory that Zelda actually took these photos. And this was Zelda's camera.
While you were researching together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, she was researching, but you were there.
Protecting her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, these are actually all of Zelda's photos that we get in your camera rune or camera slate, whatever that is. And so Impa suggests, why don't you try to locate, each of these pictures, the exact location that this was taken, and you can maybe restore some of your lost memories, which is a quest that we will later talk about at another point in time. But I just wanted to, since it's right here, just present it. That's like an option you can do.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And while I was doing that, or what?
No, I was just gonna say a lot of the mementos we'll run across as we're just playing through the game. Especially with some of the episodes that we have planned, like some of those will run us right into some memories. But we are planning on doing like a full memory, like basically a movie night kind of
the whole shibbity shebang.
We just do like a
one of the memories
cutscenes.
Was it one of the memories in that fortress that you guys went through?
Yeah, that's that's the last one. That's a memory that you don't get until you've gotten all the other ones, and then you go back to Impa. And she has a picture of Fort Hateno in her hut.
Oh,
you remembered the end of the quest.
Yeah,
apparently,
she shares that with you. She's like, "Oh yeah, now that you found the rest of them, go here and find this one," and that's like the big one.
But yeah, while I was actually leaving Hateno after talking to Pyrrha and going to Kakariko, because I just took the path there instead of fast traveling, because funny enough, to this day, I still don't have the shrine by Kakariko, but I'll get it. I'll get it eventually.
You don't even have to go into it. You just click on it once and you could fast travel to it.
I mean,
yeah, I haven't even.
I've heard of people doing non-fast travel runs in this game just to really experience Hyrule. So, I mean, if you were doing that, I would understand, but you're not. So I'm kind of like, dude, think of the convenience. Just
it's
get that
definitely
shrine.
Convenient.
You don't even have to complete the shrine. Just put your tablet on it so you get the fast travel spot.
Yeah, I'll definitely get there. But on my way back, I ran into this man named Aegis. If you guys have talked to him yet.
What's his name?
Aegis.
Aegis?
Yeah.
And where is he?
So he actually lives in Hateno, but he travels back and forth between Hateno and Dueling Peak Stable. He grows vegetables in Hateno. He has a farm there, but he travels back and forth between that and Dueling Peak Stable, which is actually where I found him because I was going to register a horse in Dueling Peak Stable before I went to Kakariko. And I found him. And he is one of the only merchants that sells fresh milk.
Oh.
Which is like an ingredient that you need in almost every single recipe. That and goat butter. The man is a legend.
I will say the Koyan, the ranch girl up at the ranch, reminds me of Malon, honestly. But
is it the girl that runs Eastwind?
No, this is the girl up the hill who basically has all the cows and stuff in the field up there. Who wants you to go down and take care of them enemies on the shore. If you actually do that for her, she gives you 10 fresh milks.
Fonzi's Farms.
Get that milk.
So what I wanted to bring up,
put the milk on the table.
The Milky Milks for, is there's actually a recipe. Okay, you ready for this? This recipe is called Veggie Cream Soup. Cooking with Anthony. Okay, now we all know that you can get some good, nice carrots or pumpkins in Kakariko Village. So you should already have those. You should already have a bunch of rock salt if you did any mountain exploring whatsoever thus far. Now, with your Fonzi's Farms fresh milk, you got 10 of those babies in there, you will be able to make veggie cream soup. 3 ingredients, and then you can add 2 for however you want to customize it, whether you want to make it with some Endura, Swift carrots, some fortified pumpkins, some hearty truffles, however you want to do your meal, do it up. And I actually made this in real life. I don't know if you guys are fans of soup, but I'm a big soup drinker, and I made me some veggie cream soup in real life, and oh my goodness. So I actually copied this off of online.
Okay.
And I didn't tell my girlfriend I used goat butter, but I did actually get goat butter.
Wait, okay, full stop. Wait a minute, what? Why didn't you tell her?
Because she would have been like, I don't want this. So, but she only had like a spoonful, so it doesn't really matter. I drank the whole thing. So the goat butter is what makes all the difference. You want to use goat butter and cream.
Does she listen
so you
to
want
this
to have
podcast?
No. So you want to use like oat cream, or if you want to make it vegan, or you can use any heavy milky cream. But goat butter and cream are the 2 main ingredients that you want in this. Any vegetables that you want. So you can have pumpkins, carrots, peas, cloves, garlic, onions, any vegetables you want, celery. Make sure you have potatoes, extra virgin olive oil, and you want about 3 cups of broth. And the creaminess, I don't even know how to explain it in words. It's just like drinking milky soup, but just drinking milk that's flavored, savory flavored milk. I don't know how to explain it, but the Breath of the Wild people, they're onto it.
I might try that. I'm having trouble getting past the fact that you gave your vegan girlfriend goat milk.
She's not vegan. She's vegetarian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she has eggs all the time.
Gotcha.
So
sorry. I've been listening to
but...
C-Motionals, and I got the impression that you guys were vegan, so I just...
No.
I just assumed, I guess.
It's really hard to be full vegan in this world.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so... So it's like the best recipe, honestly.
Nice. I mean, I like some cream of chowder and some cream of mushroom soup, so I've definitely had the creamier soups, and I can appreciate a good creamy soup.
I was going to say, I've seen cream of vegetable, but I've never seen vegetable cream soup. I'm wondering.
Cream of wheat.
I mean, obviously, homemade's probably going to be a little bit nicer.
Cream of wheat.
Cream of. Get out of here.
It's good stuff. Some brown sugar on that.
Mmm.
I'm not about it. I can't do it. I mean, I can do it, but I don't love it.
As a kid, I loved it.
All of them things, man. Cream of wheat, stinking. I mean, even if it's just like oatmeal or whatever, cornmeal, stinking grits.
Oatmeal's got to have a strong flavor.
Can't do grits.
I can't eat no weak oatmeal. The weaker the oatmeal, the weaker my stomach for it. I need strong flavor. Otherwise, the texture overpowers me. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, no.
It's like, why am I wasting my mouth power on something so bland?
Yeah.
My muscles are working for what?
It tastes like somebody already digested this. I mean, it feels like. Doesn't taste like it. Tastes fine. It's the texture of oatmeal.
Yeah.
It's not good.
I follow you.
Tapioca.
Yeah, I'm out of things to talk about, guys. Now that
I got my Cameron story section.
Got Cameron story. Story
Cameron
time with
story.
Cam.
Welcome back to Story Time with Cam.
We're gonna need an official jingle for that, but go ahead.
All right.
Hello, dearie. Welcome to Story Time with Cameron.
So after beating the shrine behind Kakariko Village, I spotted a guardian, and I decided this was going to be the first guardian. I was going to mess him up. I was going to take him down. I was going to turn him off. I was going to flip the switch on
Turn him off.
So I got up on a small hill to appreciate like my prey. I was like, feeling like a hawk up in the tree, like looking down at the thing. I'm about to swoop down and just end this whole thing's career. And this ram, it was also on the small hill, just turns to me, decides to end my career before I can do anything. Rams right into me, and I rolled off the small hill and lost one entire heart.
There you
I
go.
headshot this ram, and I cooked him up, and I added his energy to my own.
Okay, vengeance is a dish best served hot. Absolutely.
Fresh. A dish best served fresh.
Oh, man. I was expecting you to die from what you were kind of hinting towards.
It was a small hill. It wasn't if it was a cliff top and this guy did it to me, then it would have been the end of the day.
Going after guardians, huh? Bro, you can't even handle the rams.
First. Yeah, exactly. So then I ran over to the guardian and I'm like, "Sup?" And he looks at me. And, he starts his whole he's excited to see me. His eye starts getting really big. And so I'm getting my shield out, getting my timing ready, and just bam! Reflector right back at him. Didn't miss a single time. I always do a save state before I attempt this, just in case I fail, and I don't want to ruin all my shields. Then I can just reload after I try with a couple shields and don't lose anything. It's not cheating. It's
save scrubbing.
Yeah,
we've all done
save
it.
Scrubbing. Yeah, but I didn't need it. Because then I ran over to him, I destroyed 3 legs. Each leg you destroy gives you 2 additional parts and re-stuns him so he can't keep firing his laser. After the 3rd leg, though, he recovered really quickly from that stun, and he started, he had 2 legs still left on the same side. He started, crawling away from me while looking at me and building up his laser, so I didn't feel like trying to chase behind him for a couple more parts, so I just stood my ground, reflected one final laser back at him, and that was my first Guardian destroyed. No cores.
Nice.
Yeah. I avoided a couple other ones, even though obviously I probably could have taken them, but I was like, I want to feel like the early game of Zelda again. I want to feel like these things are so scary, I have to avoid them for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't remember if I've actually fought any yet. I definitely fought
seen
them.
The helicopter one.
Yeah, I've fought the one, I fought the Guardian stuff in shrines, like the test of strength and stuff. I don't think I've actually fought a Guardian in the field. Guardian. Yeah, I think I fought
it. Was the full-blown Guardian.
I fought the ones that are just stuck in the ground. That all they have is the laser. I did a couple of shield reflections on a couple of those guys, but that's it. Well, at Fort Hateno, before I went in.
Okay.
Yeah, before I went into the fort, I just found 1 or 2 active ones and took them out.
Then there was a shrine I was headed to. It was where I had to scoop some balls out of the water with a metal half circle and then dump them onto the receptacle, which is hidden inside a box of metals. That's why you had to scoop them up and lift them over with the magnesis. There's actually an interesting chest there that you might not look for because you have to lower the water in the second room or hit the second. There's a separate switch in the second room you have to hit to open a door that was underwater in the first tub that I didn't even notice. And I was running around. I got to the very end and thought, I know every shrine has at least one chest in it. And I went back to the beginning and found that room at the bottom. And I was like, I didn't even know this was here. That's an easily missable one.
Was it something good? Like, was it rupees or an amber or something?
I didn't make note of it, so I guess no, not something very good.
Okay. No, that's fine.
It was probably just like a random bow or weapon. I think it was a bow.
It's like that one piece of armor that everyone wants to know where it is, but nobody does.
It's a Boko bow.
It's a full set of Zelda armor.
There you go.
Interesting drop I got the other day from my amiibos. I got the Edge of Duality.
I've wielded at least one of those. Very fun.
Yeah.
Isn't that like got 52 damage or something?
Yeah.
Doesn't
mean make
it's
a
like the
difference in
Sheikah
master mode.
Greatsword, right? Like the big Sheikah Claymore type deal.
Yeah.
It's a chonker.
Ain't making no difference in my playthrough.
Well, you chose that path.
Anything under 25 does absolutely nothing unless it's a Bokoblin. Anything other than a Bokoblin and 25 damage and under is nothing.
I don't know what it's
faster
called.
than I
I
deal
just know the
damage.
sound it makes when it kills a Bokoblin.
You're telling me you're not out here killing Lionels with sticks, my guy?
No.
Color me surprised.
If you can gather 57 sticks for me to fight with.
Alright,
It's
so
brutal.
after I finished at that shrine, I decided to keep heading towards Hateno, which I was like, I went north from Kakariko to get there. So now I'm heading towards Hateno from there. And I found my way to like these ruins that were down along the edge of a river, kind of with cliffs on both sides. There's a river, and then there's these ruins running next to it with some Bokoblins, some Lizalfos. And then when I got far enough, I saw a big waterfall, like not too far away. So I started to generate those cryosis platforms and hopping my way on over there. And turns out that behind this waterfall, and then up like a decent climb, which I did have enough stamina for, although barely, there's a shrine. And so I completed that shrine.
Nice. Oh, I forgot to mention shrines from Hateno. Sorry. Go ahead with your shrines. With your story, I mean.
So this shrine was a giant button in the middle of a bunch of water, and there were 3 metal chests hidden around the room, and you had to obtain those metal chests so that you could put them on the button to make it heavy enough to continue. And from there, it was pretty simple. Like, unlocked a door, you grab a box out of it and use that box on an elevator to get extra height so you can get up to a part, which takes you to the end. And the chests were all the chests needed to actually complete the shrine by putting them on the thing. So you get 3 chests throughout it, and you get like some rupees, a weapon, and something else.
Sure.
Nothing crazy.
Nice.
There's a small cave out behind that shrine that just leads out a different way, because there's only 2 ways into this room, and it's the way I came up, which is the cliff where the waterfall is, and then this little back alley pathway. And that took me out towards the direction I was going, towards Hateno. I spotted the tower, I went to climb it, ended up killing my first moblin on the way to this area. Like, this is the first moblin I actually ended up fighting and like running into.
Okay, yeah.
This
Definitely
was
run past a lot of moblins.
This is the tower with all the spikes.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Where you have to climb up in a certain pattern. The first time I ended up going all around it in this weird way, and I just got lost in it. And the second time I'm like, wow, I can basically almost climb straight up from where I'm at. And I didn't even need to go this whole weird winding path I thought I was on.
You might be able to burn the spikes too, unless I'm thinking of a different tower.
Yeah, I think I remember that, but I don't know if you can with this.
Breath of the Wild does some crazy stuff like that.
It does. And after this, if you look down over towards the direction of Hateno, I think it is, you see a big enemy encampment, like those ones that are built up on the wood that have the stairs coming up around the base.
Yeah.
I dropped down and took those guys out all, Deus Ex style. Just kind of...
Deus Ex Linkina.
That's right, Linkina. I like it. And I want to have some words with the person that designed the shrine in Hateno Village. We need to sit down and have a conversation because this. You look a little confused, Fonz, but
yeah, what was the shrine? I forgot.
This motion shrine is a nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Was it the one with the platforms and the ball?
Yes, it's the one with the giant thing and the ball maze. I hate it.
You didn't flip the maze?
Oh, I flipped the maze, but I hate that I have to resort to flipping the maze every time.
I don't know that I did flip the maze this time, but it is obnoxious to like get the power just right to flip it the right way. I think I tried to flip the maze.
Yeah.
Either way, you have to do the same like gusto check, and it's just not fun.
It's like, it's not even the gusto part that gets me. It's where you have to have the right angle for the hop you give the ball at the end. And if you just have the wrong angle of it rolling, it'll just miss the other, and you have to do the whole maze again.
Yeah.
I cannot stand it. When I saw this shrine, I was like, oh, I remember this. Like the PTSD triggered immediately. I was like, I remember how I solved this the last time. I remember everything about this. I had such a bad time.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Nintendo was like, well, our system has a gimmick. We got to use it, especially for a Zelda game. Like, we got to make sure that this motion control is a part of it. So,
and then they asked a random janitor what a good idea for it would be, and they took the idea to heart because it's such a bad design solving that with the motion controls. Bruh, especially I'm using Joy-Cons right now that are newest Joy-Cons out in like 2021, 2022. If we're talking release date Joy-Cons motion control was horrible. So much noticeably worse that this was an actual living nightmare at that point in time. So I'm sorry. No, this is a terribly designed puzzle. I don't like it at all.
It was meant for the Wii U.
It's so bad on the Switch. It's so bad.
It's the one Wii U shrine.
It's a Wii U shrine. It 100% is a Wii shrine. I've heard stories of people who were playing in handheld mode. You have to like flip the whole system upside down and like this nonsense. It's like, all right, this is for sure meant for Wii U, where you can just have it up on the screen and you just have a pad and you're like, oh look,
wait, hold on,
it's great.
Is that the shrine that you have to like bring it back and then like kind of like junk it forward?
Well, you gotta like tilt it so the ball rolls, and then you tilt it up,
flip it at the end,
flick it over.
Oh, okay, I did do that one. I haven't done many shrines. I wasn't sure if that was the one I did. The one that I had the most trouble with, I don't know if you guys have done it yet. I thought this is what Cameron was talking about, but it's the one where you come up this giant long ramp and you get to around the top of the ramp, and then you have to actually see what you're looking for the puzzle. And once you finally find it, you realize the puzzle, there's a giant waterfall on the other side of this long chasm. And there's like 3 or 4 platforms on this chasm, on the other side of this chasm. And the ball is running down, and you have to freeze the ball freeze the waterfall so that the ball has to stop. And oh my goodness, trying to time like where the ice would appear and the ball to hit it to perfectly fall down and it has to have enough speed so that when it actually falls to the last platform and you hold the ice there again, that it actually has enough speed, because there is a gap between the last platform and where the ball actually has to sit in the bowl.
Yeah. And it can fall in there.
Oh my goodness. I had so much trouble with that shrine.
Yeah.
It's like one of those I want to be the guy things. It's like you think you got to the end and then all of a sudden the spike shoots out of the ground. It's like, ha
Yeah.
I did that shrine. I didn't have as much trouble with it, I think, but it might just because I remember how I did it the first time, and it was like this time was really smooth.
I remember having a hard time with that one the first time I found it, but ever since it hasn't given me too much trouble.
Yeah. One shrine that I did, there's a quest that I was given by someone in Hateno. It might have even been the mayor's wife. I think it was, let me see. I have it in my notes because I always have it in my notes. It's the mayor's wife. Her name is Clavia. And Clavia glitched out on me the first time I talked to her. She was like, "Oh yeah, follow me. I have something I want to tell you." And she walks out onto this little pier behind the the dye shop. And she just kept walking and fell straight into the water, and then like walked back and stood on the pier, but she was actually standing under the pier. And I tried to go down and talk to her, but you can't talk while you're swimming, so I wasn't able to talk to her. I had to leave and come back, and then she was waiting on the pier and could actually talk. But she points out a set of trees up in the mountains. There's 3 of them in a row, and she says there's like a legend where if you follow the 3 trees so that they're all in a line, or so that the 3 trees become one, so basically in line, you can find some treasure, basically. And she says, well, I think it's talking about something that's out on the shoreline. So she even tells you like which direction to go in on that line. And this is where I saw the dragon, because if you climb up to where those trees are, you can actually clear as day see the dragon on like the next mountain over. So I went and got that picture while I was there. And I followed the tree line, and there's a hidden shrine. Like it's just in a cave, bombable cave. And if you get it, it might even just be a blessing shrine. I don't remember if there was a puzzle inside after that. But it's like the secret of the cedars. And it was actually a piece of climbing gear. So that was pretty cool. I think it might have been the pants. Might have been the shirt. I don't remember. One of them is here. Yeah, the pants is here. Okay, and then the shirt is out on an island, I think.
Yeah, and that's like towards the end of my story.
Okay,
like
sorry.
After some stuff with... No, we're good. Like that's just the last thing I did where I'm going to end my story off on. So it's funny that you brought it up.
Nice.
So after I do the stuff with Pyrrha and all that, which we already talked about, I decided I wanted to keep going just a little bit, and I looked out behind Hateno, and I saw that shrine that was way out in the water. So I decided, hey, maybe I can make it from here. No, I couldn't. I drowned. But then I saw that there was like a cliff popping out over closer to it, where it definitely looked like I'd get to it, and there's another shrine up there. So I decided, hey, I'm going to go do that one, and then jump off and go do the one I want to do. And so when I finally got to that shrine, which, by the way, when I was going there, I passed over a mountain, which was Lover's Pond. And that's pond
that's right.
Yeah.
Ironically, even though it's called Lover's Pond, it's shaped like a broken heart.
Yeah. There's 2 ponds like that in the game. One is broken and one is complete.
Oh.
So
I was at the broken.
Yeah, it might have been a false lover. I don't know. There might be 2. I think they might have different names, but I don't know that for sure. We'll have to see.
There was an NPC there saying she was looking for her soulmate, and she thought this was Lover's Pond, the place she was supposed to go, but there's no one here. So maybe she was looking for the real one, and this is a fakie.
Yeah, I think she was looking for the real one, and ended up here. Went looking for love and got crickets.
Found a broken heart, actually, like the opposite of. He found the only pond ever to exist that looks like a perfectly broken heart, and she's like, "This must be Lover's Lake." Like, how do you? Okay, it's fine. But the shrine, when I got to it, the one that's overlooking the water, was a modest test of strength, which is pretty easy. I beat that in like 2 or 3 minutes. Got some weapons. Jumped off to do the one in the water, and that was a major mistake. Test of strength.
I still haven't done a major test of strength
because I did it.
I don't want to.
And afterwards, by the time I beat him, not including what I picked up from him and what I got, which was the final piece of the climber's gear, which is the chest out of the chest, all I had was 1 sledgehammer and a boomerang left.
There you go. Save
I
Hyrule.
went through every single other weapon, which is probably like 7 or 8 weapons I went through, and a chunk of arrows.
What would you say your average like durability and weapon power was?
I don't think I had anything higher than like a 20.
Okay.
But I think my average is probably like in the mid to low teens.
Gotcha.
And I took on a major test with everything that I had, and I barely managed to beat it. And one of my weapons was another sledgehammer.
Well, yeah, that can happen.
But now I got a bunch of really strong double plus laser weapons that do like 40 to 60 damage that I shouldn't have right now.
And you can climb so fast.
And I can climb so fast. I'm going to go back to the ferry and get the rest of this upgraded. I think it takes 2 upgrades to actually see any.
Yeah, I think we gotta find another ferry. I mean, there's like 4 of them in the game or something like that, plus some bonus ferries. So, fun stuff.
And that is the end of Cameron's story time.
Nice.
The end.
Cool. Well, I think that wraps us up. Anybody have anything else to add, or you think we're good to call it?
Snorlax.
We're good.
All right, cool. Well, thank you all for listening. This has been our episode of A4NB4Y. We'll see you again in 2 weeks, where we start making our way towards Zora's domain. Hey, yo, First Divine Beast is on our hit list. So yeah, join us for that. Otherwise, you can catch us on our social medias. You can find us on our website. Anthony does C-Motionals. Cam does YouTube sometimes, but not lately. But maybe one day. We'll see.
Podcat.
He's got a podcast in the background. And we will catch y'all next time on A4NB4Y.
Yeah.
Did you get all the way out?